So welcome all to the week 4 session of this AutoCAD course. So here we are going to see the different MN techniques, that is the editing techniques that are available with AutoCAD to be used. So until previous week what we are seeing is we started off with the course introduction, went on with how to use the various orientation tools, and next we looked into what are the different zooming techniques that we can use, how to navigate around the drawing. So now this week we'll focus heavily on the different editing techniques that will help us to fasten the drawing requirements. So initial techniques that we look at is the introduction of the text command. We'll look very in detail to each functionality of the text command and subsequently build on it to the next level, that is the multi-line text command. So we'll dwell into these two topics very heavily, and the next sub properties of these two commands will be the style command. So we look into what are the different styles that can be employed and how it can be applied to the various text object that we are going to include in the drawing. And also regarding the properties, we'll look into the line type property and how to apply it. And parallelly, when we operate on multiple textual objects, we require to edit the properties of each and every one of it. So we'll look into the methodology to select the required objects using a filter command that's called as a quick select, and also we'll look into how to modify those properties in different manners. So next what we'll see is the additional editing command that succeeds the last week course. We'll look into scale command, extend, join, trim, rotate, lengthen and stretch. We'll look into how these commands go in pairs and how they support each other, and what are the key editing techniques that we'll be repeatedly using to fasten the drawing. Okay, now let's start with the text command. So we have two variants of it. One is called the text and next is called an M text, multi-line text. So these two are different text options that are available for us for one of the annotations that you can use. So annotation is something that you add information to the drawing. Some of the examples of annotations are, it can be notes or label to a particular drawing or a feature, or you can plot in tables. For example, if you're plotting an assembly drawing that consists of n number of parts, you can insert a table to indicate which part is what. And then also you can use this annotation for dimensioning and tolerancing, and next for hatches and callouts and blocks. So these are the typical annotations that we use, and for enabling the fundamental of it, that is to give a notes to the drawing, we use text and M text. So let's look into the first option, text. So you can invoke it by the text command txt. So once you specify it, let me also invoke the command line option. So let's go back again, text. So the first expectation is to the start of the start point. Next you also have two different options, that is to specify the justification or the style. So the text command expects just 2 points, that is it asks for the start point and next the end point within which this text has to be positioned. So this justify and style allows you to position the text differently and also define the style of insertion of the text. We'll look into one by one. So we'll just start off with the basic command. Now we can see it also highlights what is the default setting in this window. So the current text style employed is standard, followed by the text height to be 2.5 units, and in case of annotator it's showing no, and the default justification is set as left. So to typically denote it, let's start off with this point, and the next point is required for height, because as a single line, based on the height of the text, you can control how it's going to be sized upon. So okay, let us go ahead with the 2.5 mm diameter itself. So next it asks for the rotation of the text. So let us right now just stick with the 0 degree, that is going for a horizontal line of text. And now the text cursor is inserted. Ask for a text to be inserted. So let us just say test space text. So now this, when you click on escape, it terminates the command. Sorry, let me repeat it again. Text, the start point, test text. Yeah, so not the escape, but you can click anywhere on the screen to come out of it, but the command gets extended, so wherever you push in the text, you can continue the text option. Now clicking on escape terminates the command. Now as you could see, the text is inserted, but it's of very small size, so you can zoom to extend to just see where the object has been positioned. So this is the single line text overview. So now let's see what happens if we keep on typing the test requirement. So let me just remove this command line, going back again, and now inserting the text command with the same height too. Alternatively, suppose if you want to specify the height by selecting 2 points, that also can be done. That is, instead of explicitly giving the dimension of the text, you can specify the height by specifying 2 different points. So the distance between those points will be taken as the text height. So suppose if we just give an arbitrary distance of this, so for this length, the text is going to get inserted. So the previous orientation that we have given is taken directly. So now let us directly so we just test 2, and then I'm clicking on enter again, and I'm writing one more line, test 3, test 4, and then terminating by clicking on escape. So now we have used the single text line command with using multiple enters to type different lines, but as you could see, each and every line of text is considered as a single object. So whatever lines you enter, if you give the enter command, that is treated as a separate object or a separate entity. So this is the major difference between your text and the multi-text command. So next, let us see how the commands are going to get positioned. That is the different justification and alignment options that we have. To denote it, we'll just quickly draw a rectangle and a line across here. So first, okay, let us draw the center line, and then let us draw one more line here. So this box has been configured to just have an idea about how the text is going to be distributed across the baseline or the center line, or justified from left to right. So this will give you an idea from where the originating point is and the end point is. So for a quick understanding, let us give out identification using text command here, and let's say text height of 25 mm and height of 0 is 0. Yeah, so as top. Okay, so this is not visible here. Let us check why. So the object is not getting highlighted. So quickly let us use this measure tool to just investigate how it is. What's the distance of this? Okay, so what it's having is there is 86 mm in length. So maybe that's the reason why our text is not getting displayed. So let us try it out once again. Text command. So this is the start point, and say let us say 35 mm as the height. Rotation angle 0. Top. Okay, so this looks a bit too big. Let us try it out with the smaller one, 20 top line, and then one more text. So this is going to be your bottom line. And then so this is going to be your left line, and then this is your right line, your center line. Okay, so just to ensure that the first text is visible, you have to type in enter and then click on escape to terminate it. Okay, so the start point is here, center, and the next point is here. So we are continuing the command now using this same text button itself, baseline. Okay, so idea is kind of a bigger dimension here to just have a view of understanding. Okay, now let us type text into here and see how the various alignments are going to get affected. So let us go into the text option again with the command line option enabled so as to have the views. So right now, before specifying the start point of the text, we will specify the size, justify. Alternatively, you can also push down the down button to select the option from it. So right now we are selecting the justify option. So here you can see the various commands that are available. We have left, center, right, align, then middle, then fit. Then we have certain abbreviations TL, TC, TR. So what it does is, what you can see here is there are two characters. The first character denotes the position, that is T for top, M for middle, and then D for bottom. Next character to the right denotes the orientation, that is whether it is left aligned, center aligned, or right aligned. Likewise LCR, so that is getting repeated for these three combinations. So that's what we have had here. What we have is, we have the top, bottom, and then the center, that is the middle. And then again we have this orientation, that is this is the horizontal orientation. Now the vertical orientation is left, center, and right. So based on these combos, you can arrive at different options. So now let us again choose the left option from the dynamic menu. So now what we have chosen is, the text command is going to be the same, but just the alignment has been updated to left aligned. So here what we have given is, we can select the start point. So let us specify the start point as here, at the start of the center line, or to see how it is. So let us keep a text height of 25 for a better understanding, and then the text rotation will keep a 0, no rotation. Now let us enter the text as sample text. See, what can be understood is, now if you click on this object, click on escape to come out of the text command and click on this object now. So what you can see here is, this is the base point that we have specified. So actually this line is going to be the base of the text, and the entire text box is aligned to left to this point. So this is how your left command going to work in. So let us delete it out and then repeat the text again. So I am selecting the object and clicking on delete. Sorry, it's the erase command. Yeah, I have little problem with the GUI interface becoming slow when I'm enabling the control line, so it might be a little bit delayed. Okay, so I'm turning off the command line again. Okay, now let us repeat the command again. Text and then click down arrow to select the justify style. Next, let us go for the center align. So for understanding, let us keep the base point as here. Let us not choose the center line, but rather here the baseline. As you could see, which point we are selecting will be acting as the baseline. So just extrapolating from this center line to this point, that also serves as base. So specifying this and retaining the same height as 25, and then the angle of 0. Now let us type in the text sample text. So right now, if you select the object again, what you can see is we have two orientation. The first is again is aligned to the baseline, and next, based on the selection point, the text get distributed evenly on the left and right so that it is center aligned with this point. So this is how your center line goes to work. So the rotation angle for center line is again with respect to the base line and the center point, you can vary the rotation. So let us check the rotation once. So let us try and override on the same command to understand how the rotation works. So we select the same center point, same height, but rotation angle let us say as 45 degrees. See, from the axis now it is aligned 45 degrees. This is the baseline. It's been turned for a angle of 45 degrees. So this is the angle 45 degrees because for this angle the baseline is going to run through this, and hence the angle between this baseline to this baseline, that is the reference line, is going to be 45 degrees. So this is how your rotation is going to work with respect to the center option. So in this rotate command we can have one more variant. Suppose if you want to have the text in the upside down manner, you can affect that by specifying a rotate of 180 degrees. So let us use this text command again, and let us overwrite on the same point to have how it affects, and the text height is same, and rotation let us specify as 180 and type in sample text. So this is to ensure that your initial alignment is okay, that is the angle is 180, but for ease of typing AutoCAD shows it as the same format, but you click on outside and then click on escape to have it affected. So now you can see that the text has been rotated 180 degrees, that is the text has been specified upside down. So this is how your command is going to operate. So let us quickly now go to the next one and use the erase command to delete the text that we have done so far. Okay, so now let us go back to text, and now in justify let us select the right justification. So as you could see now again the requirement, you can see it specifies the right endpoint of the text baseline. You can see in the dynamic info tool. So the rightmost point in the baseline is the specification followed by the height, and let us keep the text rotation as 0 and type in the code sample text. So now the text is right aligned with this point. Okay, so this is how your text align with respect to left, center and right on the baseline is going to act. So next command is in justify we have the align option. So in align what we does is in the previous commands we just select the left or the center or the right points of starting the text. So here what we do is we specify the endpoints of the baseline, and based on the number of characters the height the height is constant, but the width of the characters, that is the size of the individual characters, is adjusted in proportion to the height. So with differing endpoints dimension the height position is going to vary. So let us quickly see how it's going to enact. So this is your first endpoint, whereas let's select the second endpoint that's here. So this is a short text, and now let us type in the command sample text. As you could see, the height of the text is dynamically altered based on the number of characters the text is going to have. So this is one thing. So let us do one more repetition of the same command. So in this point let us say sample text size 2 or 4. So what it does is, it will try to constrain the text object within the start and end point so that it does not exceed the boundaries. So this is the aligned justification available in the text command. So next we'll erase this to erase these two. So next text in justification is the middle option. So what it does is, it will align to the baseline center and middle line center of all letters. So let us try and keep the same base point here. So it's actually asking for the midpoint. So let us keep the midpoint and same height and same rotation as 0 and typing it sample text. So now as you could see, it is holding it in within the middle point of this text object, as well as the center point that we select is the center of the axis as well as the center of the baseline. Whereas earlier when we selected the center option, it aligns with respect on the baseline but with respect to the vertical center, but here it goes to the center of the baseline itself. So this is your middle command. So the next command in justification is the fit command. So there is a subtle difference between a fit command and an align command. So what align command had done was, we specify the endpoints of the baseline, and based on the number of characters, the size is adjusted along with the height. So this is what we see. But whereas the fit command, we specify the area within which it should constrain, and hence the height will be remain constant. Whereas in the previous align command, the height is going to vary. Whereas here the height remains same, but the character width will be getting altered. So let us quickly see how it's going to be. Again, we'll specify the first endpoint here and the second endpoint here. So now text height is provoked here, because the earlier command we didn't get the text height for align. So here we are constraining the text with respect to the height as 25. So now let us try the sample text. As you could see, the width of the text is getting constrained here. So let us repeat one more command here, saying a sample text of higher length. So as you could see, the object gets restricted within this start point and end point with the same height of 25 with this, right? But based on the number of characters, it is trying to squeeze in the characters length within it by varying the character width, the size of the character in individual character width. So this is your fit command is going to operate upon. So based on the requirement of your dimensions, you can try and use this variable, but typically you can stick with the fundamental dimensions that you're going to use, that is the normal left align or center align or the right align, and using the middle or the center command. Because if you go on use this, it will impact the readability of your drawing, because as you could see, whatever the text length is, it is typically easier to read these rather than this, because the fundamentals of your dimensions denote that each character should be of uniform dimensions, because you can see the width of the characters within which the character falls in is going to be common across. But when you try and use this justify fit or align, here you could see is going to be different from E and T. So this aesthetically does not look good. So that's why it is not recommended for a typical drawing. But in case of special requirements wherein you have to constrain the dimension of the text, then you can make use of these. So let us look now into the other commands in the justification object. So now what we have is again a combination of these commands. So we have the left, center and right align commands with respect to the position of top, middle and bottom. So let us look into TL first. So it's asking for the top left point of the text. So let us try and go with this dimensions what we have. So we are specifying the topmost and the left point, and we are specifying the same height as 25 and text rotation is 0 and as sample text. See, now you can see that if you click on the object, you can see where it is referred to. This is the top left point of this object text, whereas the height is denoted by this point. So this is your height and this is how your object gets positioned. So based on your text length is going to increase or decrease. But the height is be the same and the width between the text is all the same. So this is your top left. So next let us go into the text command again without deleting the object. Let us see how it varies. So now let us go for top center. So let us use this point because this is going to be top, whereas this is the center point of that. And text height is same, rotation angle 0, sample text. Now select it. There is an overlap, but this is just to show you a variation how it affects. So this object is now aligned onto the top and to the center. Right, so the same is going to affect it when we use the TR option in text, that is aligning to the top right point. So hope you have got the context flavor of this. So similarly you have the next is the middle center, middle left, middle right, and next you have the bottom left, bottom right, and the bottom left in the command. You can try and using whichever variant is better for you. So typically let us go back to the original default option left. Okay, so we have reverted back to the command. So next let us look into the other variant of the text, that is now the style options. So it actually provokes for the different style options that is already present in the system. So inside style option we have a predefined option called as the standard, and also there's a question mark here saying that there is no other available, but you can select the standard option. So to look into like what it does, what are the different properties that are available in text style, so you can do it by two ways. That is, the first, in the annotate panel you can go to this text style, wherein you can manage the text styles here. So this is one way of doing it, or rather you can go to the format menu bar here and then go to the text style. So both provokes the same option, wherein you can customize the code that you want. So here for the standard style, as you could see, if you click on it, first option is it can't be renamed, but what you can do is you can change the orientation or font name that you want to do. Suppose if you want to change from Arial to say Calibri, then you can select and then click on apply, wherein you can see a font overview here, what would be the end effect that is going to affect. So suppose if you want everything to be in bold and then it should be in Calibri format with the width factor of say 1.25 and there's no oblique angle, and this is the default, then you can apply and save it, so that this will give be the standard format for all. As you can see, now the properties at the back side it got updated. If suppose if the options are not updated, then you can still go ahead and see, now we have reverted back to the old setting as we had given cancel, it gets reverted back. You can still go ahead and give out a purge command. So what purge does is it removes all the unreferenced text style that are taken away. So as you can see here in this purge menu, you can have the text style options, wherein if there are any unreferenced, then you can purge all. So why this option has come, because in this drawing we have not used the annotative style. So it is asking to remove this option or remove all of the sub menus that are available in the respective menu. For example, within textile menus we had an option called annotative that we are not using it. So you have an option to eliminate it unused function, but it is not recommended to do this. So the purpose for showing you here is, suppose if you have created multiple or the previous users have created multiple text options, that is they have created a new text style, say user1 and so on, okay, and you're not using that, then instead of selecting it manually and then doing it, all user specific controls can be removed from the option here. So to do that, you enact the purge command. So that is the option of purge, whereas in style you can edit your gender command. So let's now go back to the standard command